I don't think I've ever sat down and connected my faith to my story, and that's really scary. In 2012, I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. I went through a lot growing up. I had a really bad biological dad who wasn't a part of my life and chose when he wanted to be a part of it. I had a sister I've never met because of him, and a little brother I haven't seen for 5 years because of him, which holds me back from being the best thing in the world, which is a big sister. I struggled a lot with my feelings growing up because of that. Every time I let him in, he just walked out. And there was no knowing when he would come back. But I had a really great dad in replacement of him who adopted me when I was 12. And he taught me what unconditional love was. And if I'm being really honest, he was who made me faithful and believe that it was possible to be unconditionally loved by someone. I think the hardest thing with mental health and knowing I suffer from severe depression and anxiety at times is knowing that it's never ending. There's not really a moment where I feel healed or I feel like I'm okay or recovered fully, because that's not a thing. I would say that my mental health pushed away my faith more than anything. I think going through what I went through so young, being diagnosed with something so severe so young, made me believe that there was no such thing as a God. Because if there was God, then why do bad things happen, and why do people feel hurtful things, and why is there war, and why is there hate? And looking back at it 8 years ago, if you would have told me that I would volunteer every weekend in the church, or I would become friends with the people that work at a church, I probably would have laughed at you. I don't think God came into my life fully until I let him. And that's, I think, the case with a lot of people. I don't think it's possible to let God in if you're not willing to open up to the idea of him. 8 years later, my favorite person in the world is God, and getting to learn his story and getting to dive deeper with a community that cares so much and is passionate about so many people because of the story of Jesus, because of the story of God. You know, the whole Jesus makes life better, it doesn't make it easier, but it does make it better.